My name's Rani Shankar. I am a cognitive science major. Specialization is clinical aspects of cognition.
My name is Asif Chowdhury. I am majoring in cognitive science with a specialization in clinical aspects.
Neuroscience, but everything that goes wrong with it. So yeah, that's the briefest explanation of the clinical aspects.
Mainly studies the disorders of the brain and how really what goes wrong in the brain and how we can do better to fix it. I originally had come in as a psychology major, but then I switched to cognitive science because I loved the way it intersected between like the more physical sciences and the social sciences. And I chose clinical specifically because it overlapped with some of the med school requirements that I'm gonna have to take.
Well, it was a long journey actually. I came in with machine learning, and then I realized I really liked the neuroscience part of it more than the computer science part of CogSci. So I switched to neuroscience, and then I attended one of the CSSA GBMs, and I realized clinical aspects was a specialization available to me, and I was like, oh, that's the most interesting part of neuroscience to me is when things go wrong in the brain. So I chose clinical.
Taking COGS 18 with Professor Ellis because I think she's a great teacher and she was really great at teaching Python. COGS 17 with Johnson was really awesome because just like, I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's, I think, really rewarding getting to know all those different parts of the brain and their function.
Psych 169, I believe, and it's brain disorders, no, brain damage and mental function. And that was fascinating. I didn't know there were some things that people cannot do until I took that class. So that was very fascinating. Fascinating. Right now, I'm taking clinical assessment and treatment, which is also a psych class, Psych 124, and that is also like it's more of a clinical psychology perspective than a neuroscience perspective of neurological diseases. My first lab, it was a systems neuroscience lab, and we studied spatial navigation, and it was interesting. First, I would I would like handle rats, and we make them run on mazes and stuff like that, and then. After that, I got to my second year. I got to do my own little project, and I would code these like programs that would analyze all the data that we got from those rats, and yeah, that was very interesting.
With the Cognitive Science Student Association and just being on the board. Last year I was a general member, being a volunteer and being a committee member on top of that. So really for cognitive science, it's been that. I've been looking for some work in labs, but that's been...
In my second research experience, it was a lab in the psychiatry department in the med school, and there we were testing if we could use pupillometry, so like pupil dilation, to predict the onset of Alzheimer's, which is also really interesting. And I got to like interact with actual human patients, and not even patients but human subjects, and like score all their data and like see if we can figure out if they have dementia or not.